All right, class, welcome to week 7. All right, so this week is really cool, very interesting, might be scary for a lot of you. If it is scary, then that means that you're going to need to probably make time to meet with me over the next 2 weeks in order to get this particular assignment and what we're going to be talking about accomplished, right? But what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks is we're going to learn about the connection between what we hear and what we see. All right. And so, how we're going to begin thinking about this is I've given you an assignment to express color through or express audio through color. Now, the easiest way to think about this would be to be like a music video, right? Where you hear music and then you have images that accompany the music that, help, kind of dictate the feeling or the emotions of this. Now, what I want all of you to be thinking about this week and looking at the materials that I've given you to start to get an idea of what it is that we're talking about and kind of read and think through this is what I want you to be thinking about is what is a visual medium, right? Or a medium in which you can create a visual medium. So photography, animation, video, hand drawn, origami, whatever it is that you can think of. How can I tell a story, or what am I most comfortable with? And I'd be good at, designing. And then what we're going to do is we want to kind of come up with a way in which we are going to record something, some sound, some music, but we have to create it ourselves, right? So we could make it, it could be singing, it could be literally anything that you can think of, all right? But what I want you to do is I want you to record it, and it can be recorded with sound or whatever, but then we're going to take the sound out. I'm sorry, we're with images, and you're going to record it. And then if you want to leave the sound in, you can, or you can remove the sound, and then you're going to create, a visual accompaniment that goes with it that kind of, I'm sorry, let me start over. You're going to record a sound, right? So it can be something, intentional, right? Or you could record things around you, or you could record a song, or you could record you singing, or you could record, the sound of you getting on and off the train, whatever it is, right? I want that sound I want you to then think about how you can create that sound or replicate that sound or enhance that sound or express that sound through visual medium, right? So if you were to, let's say, record you walking around, getting on and off of the subway, right? And you'll see as we start to get in this, we're gonna do this particular project learning Adobe Premiere. So for those of you who don't know anything about video editing, this is what software we're going to be using for this. I'll be using Adobe Premiere. I'll be showing you Adobe Premiere. So if you don't know how to use it, awesome. If you do, great. If you use some other type of video editing, it should be pretty similar. And for your project, you don't need to use Adobe Premiere to accomplish this. You can use a different video editing software if you want. But what you're going to turn into me is going to be a video. So we either need to, and we can put still photographs, and we can put, photographs of hand-drawn objects or whatever else, or even animation. We can put all of this into Adobe Premiere, and we can match it up with the audio so that they accompany each other, and then we create an MP4 file or a movie that I can watch, where I get to see the video that you've created at the same time as the sound that you are also creating. Now, you can do this as two complete separate files, a visual component and then a recording component that we put together, and that's probably how most of you will do it. That will be probably, I don't know, maybe it's easiest, I don't know, or however you want to do it. Or what you can do is you can, take a video where you can have something, recording sound and shooting video of something simultaneously, and then you can manipulate that video to give it some special effects or some special kind of feel or kind of play with it. But what we're trying to get across here is that it's very difficult to represent sound visually, and it's very difficult to visualize sound, right, and make it so that other people understand the experience the same. And so that's what we really want to strive to do with this particular assignment. This is a creative assignment, all right? So this doesn't have a formula of what's best and what's wrong, okay? If you can, what your grade is going to be based upon is your ability to be creative, to try and really do something artistic, but something that everyone, including myself, can understand why it is that you've chosen these elements. And then you're going to give me just a very short explanation, like maybe at the most 1 page double spaced, right? But a very short, brief kind of explanation of why you decided to match up this particular visual with this particular audio, or why you added the effects that you did to your video to accentuate the audio of it, or whatever, right? Or whatever else it is that however you've manipulated your video to correspond to the audio, right? But we want to start with the audio. So be thinking about, what is something I could record, right? And this could be anything. Oftentimes, you can either be thinking about, what should I record that I can express really cool, right? Or what is something that would be easy to express, you think that would be easy to express, that we normally just kind of hear, right? Or something like that. But what I want to see is that you can connect the way something sounds with the way that something looks, right? And so we want to start to think about this imaginarily, right? Or, we can take on a different perspective in what it is that we create. If we're sitting and we're waiting for a subway, and we're waiting for the subway to show up, and we're on the platform, and if we do a recording of this, right? If we just recorded the audio, you would hear people talking, you would hear the sounds of the train approaching or leaving, you would hear announcements, you would hear, maybe buzzing and air conditioning, or if it's open, might maybe hear traffic nearby, right? But even if you couldn't see where you were, you would probably understand and be able to paint a picture in your head of where you are. So can you replicate that artistically? And then can you add some emotion to it through color? Can you give it some color to give it some additional meaning, right? Are you trying to convey sadness or the monotony of the same experience every day during this trip? Are you taking this from, getting on the subway from the perspective of a child? Maybe when the train shows up, as an adult who's ridden the train a lot, you just think, oh, here comes a train. But to a child, maybe that sounds like a dragon or some kind of monster or a beast. Or maybe it sounds like, a superhero or something, positive, or, angels, or I don't know, whatever else, that you can think about and be creative, right? But think about what artistic expression is, right? It's taking things that we see ordinarily and it's expressing them, or it's taking things that we can't express ordinarily, like emotions, and expressing them through color and symbols and other things like that. And so this is going to be a difficult assignment for a lot of you, because there is no exact way to do this, but instead this is purely creative. This is trying to get your left brain and your right brain to work together, your visual cortex and your audio cortex to kind of sync up to be able to express the same thing. So think about something that is either very interesting to record that you could set to music to give an additional feeling to, or something that is very ordinary to record that you could then enhance, through visual representation, right? And you don't necessarily have to tell a story, but I should understand what is happening. If there are a series of sounds, or the music changes, or whatever else it is, once I find difference, I should understand what's happening with that difference. It should speak to me on some level visually, what I'm hearing. It should make sense, right? If I have a very high-pitched voice and I'm seeing a cartoon character who's big and looming, I'm not going to expect that. Now, if you're trying to be funny, that works, right? But if you're trying to get me to really believe that this character's voice would sound that way, it might be something different, right? So we want to kind of think about, how do we express audio visually, right? And how do we visually express audio, right? They're two things that work the same. And so one might be easier for you and one might be more difficult. Put the time and effort into the more difficult side and let the easy part of it be, your kind of guide, and try and work the difficult thing around what you find to be easy. And depending upon the type of person you are, it may be the audio side or it may be the visual side. But any audio that you record or any photographs that you take, any way that you record an image, either a video or a photograph of a still, of a painting that you made or something like that, you can do that. But you are going to have to convert it to a digital file. So you're going to have to get it to either a video or to a JPEG or something like that, and then an audio file. And we can bring both of those into Adobe Premiere to create a movie out of, all right? Or you could simply record a movie file, and we can take the audio out of the movie file if you record it, if you would like, so that we can separate those. And or you could even manipulate the audio and change it so that it sounds differently, and then change the video so that it corresponds. Whatever it is, be creative. If you should have access to Adobe Premiere, so if you want to get started and start playing around with that program, it sets up pretty similarly. We'll do a little workshop on Adobe Premiere next week, next live class session. For this live class session, we're going to get into more about the expression, how to express color through audio, and how to express audio through color, and the relationship between the visual spectrum and our audio, spectrum as well, and why we find these things so similar. But also a little bit what we take for granted in the creation of movies, and how often we think the audio is live, and it almost never is. It's almost always dubbed over, which we'll talk about what that means and how to do that as well tomorrow. All right. So just kind of a brief introduction to get you started, if you so you can start looking at some things. Again, I've supplied some materials for all of you to take a look at. Do go through those. Anything that I supply is required reading, so that you can actually accomplish the assignment the way in which I want you to. All right, and you can ask good questions, and I can give you good clarification, so you can get the good grade you want. Okay, this is a 4,000 level course, so I expect all of you to be on top of it and understand and ask appropriate questions and read the material. So please do that. All right, have a great week. I'll see all of you on Thursday for our live session. All right, bye.